Okay, so what if an AI could have a real eureka moment? Not just spitting back something it's learned, but actually making a brand new scientific discovery. Well, today we're looking at a new system that might be doing just that. Let's get into it. So let's start with the big question, the one that's driving this whole thing. We know AI can write your emails, it can make incredible art, it can even write code, but can it have that flash of inspiration? Can it find something genuinely new, something no person has ever thought of before? And to really get why that's such a massive jump, you've got to understand how the best AI works right now. These large language models, or LLMs, are phenomenal at putting together information we already have. They can connect the dots across, basically all of human knowledge. But the real challenge? Discovering the dots that aren't even on the map yet. And that brings us right to this fundamental problem, this huge limitation that researchers are now scrambling to solve. Okay, so here's the bottom line. Think of current AI as the best librarian in the history of the world. Seriously, it's read every single book, it knows where every fact is, and it can put together a flawless report on anything you ask. But it can't write a totally new book with a completely original idea, not from scratch. And that, right there, is the blind spot. But what if you could design an AI differently? Not as a librarian, but as a scientist? Well, that's the core idea behind the system we're digging into today. And here it is, meet AlphaResearch. The really key words here are autonomous research agent. See, its job isn't just to wait for us to ask it questions. It's literally designed to go off on its own and actively hunt for new solutions, brand new algorithms for problems that are still wide open. So of course, the next question is, how in the world does it do that? How can a piece of software possibly mimic the creative, sometimes messy but super rigorous process of actual science? This is where things get really cool. AlphaResearch basically runs in this constant loop that looks a whole lot like the scientific method. First, it proposes new ideas. It's basically brainstorming new algorithms on its own. Then it verifies them, it tests them out. And finally, based on how that goes, it optimizes its own ideas to make them even better. And then the whole cycle starts all over again. Now that verify step, that is the secret sauce. The system uses something called a dual research environment. The best way to think about it is like this. Part 1 is like a lab where it runs an experiment to see if its new algorithm actually works. But part 2, and this is brilliant, is like a simulated peer review panel where other AI agents critique the idea to make sure it's genuinely new and innovative, not just, a rehash of something we already knew. Having a clever system is one thing, right? But does it actually work when the rubber meets the road? To prove it, the researchers behind AlphaResearch set up the ultimate test. They went ahead and created a whole new competition called AlphaResearchComp. And this wasn't some kind of simulation. This was a straight-up head-to-head showdown between AlphaResearch and expert human researchers, all of them trying to solve the exact same set of unsolved problems. And they were not messing around. The competition was a gauntlet of 8 really tough, genuinely open-ended algorithmic problems. These are challenges that do not have a known perfect answer. So the stage is set, the problems are out there, and the competition is on. How did this new AI researcher actually do against the human experts? And here are the results. In what is just a stunning outcome, the human researchers won 6 of the 8 competitions. But AlphaResearch won 2 of them. Now just let that sink in for a second. An AI working all by itself discovered a better solution than a human expert on 2 incredibly hard problems. And we're not talking about tiny little improvements here. I'm going to quote directly from the research paper. The algorithm it found achieves the best of known performance, surpassing the results of human researchers. This is a huge deal. It's a landmark moment. So one of the problems it absolutely nailed is a pretty famous one called the packing circles problem. It's really simple to explain. How do you cram the most circles of the same size into a bigger circle without any of them overlapping? But actually solving it, that's a puzzle that has stumped mathematicians for centuries. And this is what makes AlphaResearch's win so important. It didn't just find a slightly better way to arrange the circles. No, it discovered a completely new and superior algorithm for solving the problem. This new method didn't just beat the human competitor. It surpassed all known human benchmarks and even blew past other powerful AI systems. A 2 out of 8 win rate is an amazing start, for sure. But what about the other 6 problems? What can we learn from the times the AI didn't come out on top? So what does this all mean for the future? Well, while it's really tempting to just focus on those 2 amazing wins, those 6 challenges where the AI didn't win, you could argue those are just as important. Because they're not really failures, you see. They're data. Every single time AlphaResearch came up short, it gave its creators an incredibly valuable roadmap. It points out the specific weaknesses, maybe in creative thinking or long-term planning, that developers can now focus on and improve for the next generation of these research agents. Which leaves us with this final, really provocative question. We have now seen an AI make a genuine, verifiable, world-class discovery. It's not perfect yet, not by a long shot, but is this the moment? Is this what we're going to look back on as the real dawn of automated science? A future where AI isn't just our tool, but our actual partner in discovery. It's a pretty incredible thought.